إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره به ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون وقال رسول الله عليه وسلم نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I always enjoy coming back home, except when I have to give a talk in front of my teachers. Then in that case, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking than enjoyment. But it was an order from my teachers. That's why you see me up here. Just a quick reminder, if we can have brothers, inshallah, fill up the first rows first. There's many brothers out here standing outside inshallah in a few minutes, so let's fill up the first rows first, inshallah. Imam Bukhari, whose book is taught, inshallah, here and other badaris from cover to cover, he states in his Sahih that the Prophet ﷺ was the best of men in appearance and the best of men in character. Let me repeat that one more time. Imam Bukhari said that the Prophet ﷺ was the best of men in appearance and the best of men in character. And we can go on and on talking about the Prophet ﷺ's character, which was so beautifully stated by Aisha radiallahu anha in a hadith narrated by Yazid. In a hadith narrated by Yazid, he said that قال دخلنا على عائشة فقلنا يا أم المؤمنين, that we came to visit Aisha radiallahu anha and we asked her, mother of the believers, that ما كان خلق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that what was the characteristics of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he gave me some of his features. So she thought about it for a second. What could be the most comprehensive answer to this? So he began to say, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Stop. Told him stop there. Then she said, هكذا كان خلق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. You're asking about his characteristics. I mentioned it with the Quran. I want to give you more specific. You go to the first few verses of Surah Al-Mu'minun, the first 5 verses, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in number 1, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, that the believers are those individuals that are successful. What's the quality of a believer? That they are successful in every facet of life. Whatever they do, they are successful in that. Number 2, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ, they are those individuals that humble themselves in salah. When they're in prayer, they're humbling themselves to their Lord, they're humbling themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're showing that concentration to Allah. They're not multitasking like how we are in the American society. You can do this, you can do that, you can do many things at the same time, but we don't do any of those things properly. No, single-pointed focus. When you're in salah, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ, you're in salah, you're showing khushu'. How do you show khushu'? You're concentrating on Allah and Allah alone. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. You're one of those individuals who avoids this idle talk, nonsense talk that has nothing to do with you. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. When it comes to obligations, you fulfill your obligations. For in case in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about zakat. That we fulfill this obligation of zakat and we fulfill all of the other obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon him, he has fulfilled. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Believers are those individuals that guard their chastity, that guard their private parts. So Aisha radiallahu anha was asked about the characteristics of the Prophet ﷺ. She summed it up in these first few verses of Surah Al-Mu'minun. She said that was the character of the Prophet ﷺ. And honestly, as far as other humans go, we understand who they really are when we go out and travel with them 2, 3, 4 days. We go out and we're in safar with them. So who can better describe the Prophet ﷺ than Anas radiallahu anhu, who his mother dropped him off to the Prophet ﷺ's house at a young age. And he was one of the last Sahaba to pass away. He said, رضي الله عنه, قال خدمت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 10 سنين, that I served the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم for 10 years. فما قال لي أف ولما صنعت ولا ألا صنعت. For those 10 years that I served him, he never uttered the word uff. And we see that word uff mentioned in the Quran as well, as the most minor form of impatience, or the most minor form of disrespect in regards to parents. That he did not even utter the word uff to me. He didn't blame me for anything by saying that, why didn't you do this? Or why did you do this? This is the Prophet ﷺ, his dealings with his khadim, Anas radiallahu anhu. You didn't spend a few days with him. Talk about 10 years. It's easy to be nice to somebody 1 or 2 hours or 1 or 2 days. But the Prophet ﷺ showed his true colors to Anas radiallahu anhu for that duration of 10 years. And throughout the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. That indeed in the Messenger of Allah, you have an excellent example. For that individual who has hope in Allah and the last day and remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often. Now, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Prophet ﷺ being the best of examples, he's not just referring to the Prophet ﷺ's inner qualities of spirituality and his characteristics, but he's also talking about his external features as well. His health. And it's for that reason the Prophet ﷺ stressed having optimal health in so many ahadith. One, in regards to food, he said that the believer is that individual who puts food into one stomach, and the disbeliever is that individual who stuffs his stomach to that it equals 7 stomachs. When we ingest our food, it affects our health in many ways. And nutrition is just one aspect of those things that affects our health. The things that we see visible on our plate. But the other aspects of health, the other things that affect our health as well are are things like spirituality, your relationships, your home environment, the amount of physical activity you have, the education that you are obtaining, the career that you might be having, finances, even having meals at home versus having out at the restaurant. To mention a few, these are all khutbah topics on their own. But as Muslims, and my time is up, I'll wrap up with this. As Muslims, we are not only required to maintain a level of spirituality, of internal balance, but also external balance as well. And the Prophet ﷺ was perfect in every facet of life. And if I can end with one hadith, Abu Darda radiallahu anhu, he said that, O Prophet of Allah, that if I'm cured of my sickness and I'm thankful for it, is it better than if I was sick and I bore it patiently? The Prophet ﷺ replied that truly the Prophet loves optimal health just as you do. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us optimal internal and external health. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وفي دعاء request